So guys, welcome to Rage Against the Dice. Once again, it's Kevin. Today we're talking about Blood Bowl, a brief look into the history and then some differences between the last version and the most current version, so between sort of 3rd, 4th and 5th. Blood Bowl was originally invented by Jervis Johnson. The man's a legend, and I'll have nobody say any different. And I believe it came out in 1986, but I did have a debate with a friend about whether it was 86 or 87. So if it was 87, my apologies. I'm just remembering it a bit early. And it's gone through a number of iterations up to where it is today, which, as I said, is the 5th edition of it. The biggest major change came in 1994 when the 3rd edition was introduced, and that brought block dice and the 16-team turn structure, obviously, that we know today. Blood Bowl's been through loads of iterations, but the first iteration of it, as I said, came out 86 or 87, and that had cardboard players for all the teams, which was pretty cool. I never got into that version. I got into 2nd edition, which was in 1988, and that was the version that had a special board that was made of like polystyrene or foam board or something like that. I can't remember. It was grey and you could paint it all up, and it had little end zones that you put in, and that was a really cool set. And then you got Dungeon Bowl with it, and this is the version I was introduced to by my friends. And it was fantastic. It was before I even knew what a Games Workshop was. I had Hero Quest, I had Space Crusade, and I played this, and I loved all three, and then later found out that they were Games Workshop ones. Then in 1994, the 3rd edition came out, which was the first edition I ever owned. And as I said, that was the edition that added block dice and the turn structure that we have today. Then there was a 4th edition, which was released, I believe, in 2000, which kind of compiled everything together. And you still got the same board, same templates and stuff that we're going to look at today. But that was kind of sort of everything chunked into one. And then up until recently, we just had the living rulebook, which was online. You could download it originally from Games Workshop's website, and then that disappeared. And you could get it from NAF. If you don't already, if you're not signed up to NAF, then you should. And that's www.thenaf.net. Get on there, sign up, you'll get yourself cool block dice and stuff like that. Definitely worth going. And then here we are today, where last year, 2016, 5th edition was released. So what we're going to do is we're going to go and we're going to have a look at the differences in pictures and templates and dice, etc. I know, exciting stuff. So let's get on with that then. So here you have it in all its glory. This is the 5th edition pitch, or this is the human version of the 5th edition pitch. It's pretty cool. If you just look, boosh. On the other side, the orc version of the pitch. And that's going to be the same with the dugouts, which we're going to look at in a second. But yes, let's flip this back. I will show you guys that in full in a second. But as you can see, each little square separated out so you can move a person up. So you can count everything. You've got, obviously, one half, the other person's half, the end zones. Then you have a little sideways, and then you have your line. This is all something we're going to come to in the how to play. Much more technical than just the line and the sideways bits. But that's not what we're looking at today. So next thing we're going to look at is the dugouts. Now, boom. This is one dugout, flip. That's the orc variation of it. I know, cool, right? And it's such a nice little touch. Decent card stock as well. So as you can see there, score counter up the top, from no score, sad times, all the way up to end score. You have 1 to 8, which is first half, 1 to 8, which is the second half, and then you have your re-rolls here. Re-rolls being the staple of this game, and something I never spend enough on because I always want to go for that extra gutter runner. Rookie error. Substitutes. guys who've just been knocked out and ready to come back on the field, and then guys who are injured. And what's really cool is you can see here 8 and 9. I mean, if you roll an 8 or 9, they go in there. 10 to 12, they go in there, and then you roll on the chart as applicable. It's cool. Next thing we're going to look at is the templates. So, this is a throwing template. I know what you're thinking. That's pretty cool. You darn tootin' it is. Plastic, same kind of plastic as the models. Probably not. But it's a sturdy plastic. Comes in 2 halves, so it stores away easier. And you use it to measure your throws. Quick pass, short pass, etc., etc. So quick pass, short pass, or is it long pass and long bomb, I believe? Or is what it used to be. Now this is your scatter. Pop that on, 1 goes there and all the way around to the 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You probably didn't see any of that because my thumb was in the way. My deepest apologies. So if the ball was to scatter, you'd use that and a D8, and the dice are something we're going to look at. And then this, which is your throwing in template. 1 or 2 goes that way, 3 or 4 goes that way, 5 or 6 goes that way. And again, when we do the how to play, we will cover that in more detail. Next thing we're going to look at is the dice. And with the new set, you get a set of orc dice and you get a set of human dice, or blue dice and green dice. Let's look at those. So here we have. So you have your block dice. And I like the dice. I like the fact that you get more dice. I hate the symbols on them. They're the same symbols as they are on the old dice, and you will see this when I show you them. But it's the same as when people were doing third-party dice. I didn't like them if the dice didn't look the same way they always did. Maybe it's because I've just collected for too long. I don't know. You also get some D6. You also get an 8-sided die, and I do like that. I think it's a bit more unique than just the basic one you used to get. Which looked like something you pick up in any sort of wargame or comic book shop. And then you get this, which is a D16, and you can use that when you're rolling, it's player 8. And as I said, you get them for both Humies, Orcs, or Team A, Team B, attacking, defending, however you wanted to do it. So they're really cool. This set is fantastic in terms of what you get. Plastic templates, big pitch, which I'm going to show you the reverse of in a second. And then what we're going to do is we're going to look at the 3rd edition one, which again, still cool. Don't get me wrong. I had this for many, many years. But yeah, we'll have a look at that afterwards. First, let's have a check of this pitch flipped over. So here it is. Here's the orc version of the pitch. Really, really cool. I love that. Right here. This is awesome. Then you've got obviously all your detailing. This, I mean, the old board again was nice. It looked like a field. It had a few little bits. But check the detail on this. Trapdoors, bits of an orc mouthpiece, arm plates, skulls. It's gorgeous. It really is. The squashed snotling. It's gorgeous pitch. In terms of everything they did with it, the design for this was on point. And it makes me really excited for Necromunda, because Necromunda is obviously made by the same team. They're going to put the same level of detail into it. But I digress. This is Blood Bowl. Now we're going to take a trip down memory lane. I feel like we should have some music that goes like doodly-doo, doodly-doo, something like that. But we're not going to. I'm not even going to shake the camera or anything. We're just going to straight over and have a look at what you would have got for your money in 3rd edition. So here we have it. It's 1994. The Beatles are the greatest thing in the world I've ever heard. I love Tim Burton's Batman. I'm just starting to really understand wargaming and stuff, and realise that my pocket money isn't just for sherbet dib-dabs. If you know what a sherbet dib-dab is, well done you guys. This pitch is also beautiful. Look, it's still got the little bits of limbs. It's still detailed, it's just not as detailed. What you will notice, it's smaller squares. Dun dun dun! Meaning if you were going to use this pitch, your new models won't fit on it as well. because of the size differences. And that's no bad thing. It just means you have to use your old teams, which I'm sure you've got loads of. As you can see, the scores were kept up here and here, not on your dugouts. So what we're going to do next is we're going to have a look at these dugouts straight away there. Boom! These are not reversible. Well, they are in terms of there's something on the back, but it's not the cool. There's not orc and human, it's just one. There you have it. First half, second half, re-rolls. Exactly the same, just not as cool. Reserves, knocked out, dead and injured. No numbers on there, so you have to remember these kind of things. See what we used to have to put up with. There was a dark time indeed. I had to remember dice numbers. I had to know that that was going to be a 10 to 12. I needed to know that was a 7 to 8, etc. Dark times. But I digress. It's not the end of the world, I guess. Then we have this bad boy. Boom. Quick pass, short pass, long bomb. Pop that there. Measure as appropriate. Again, we'll see if we measure them. Not as long as this one, because the pitch and everything's increased on that. Then we have this bad boy. This is a scatter. Works pretty much the same as the other one. I actually like this better. The other templates I don't like or care for any more than the others. It's neither here nor there, but this I do like. I like this one much better. Put it on top, you can read the numbers clearly. It's just a personal preference. And it's actually been so long that I don't even have a throw-in one anymore. I know, shocking. What I have to do is I have to count like a monster. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Brutal, but it looked basically like this. But that bit of it. Just those top bits. And so 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, 6. So yeah, in terms of it, the new one, a lot better in every respect, except the size. I just like the size of the old one better. The difference in the rulebooks. Bosh. There they both are. I basically haven't touched this one since around about 2003, because that was when I first got a copy of the living rulebook on, I think it was a Word document I had it on originally, and then eventually obviously PDF, and then moved on to downloading it onto a tablet, and you know, the world's my lobster. And then this bad boy. You can see the differences in thicknesses. A lot thinner, a lot thicker. This has all the teams in the back as well, or I thought it did. Might not be the back, might be somewhere. I may be remembering it wrong. As I said, haven't looked in this. Oh no, there they are. So yeah, this had all the teams in, which was really cool. And then obviously the living rulebook expanded on that. Both of them are fantastic for different reasons. I like this better because I can read it. Look at that. My old eyes really struggle with this. But yeah, dice. Let us look at the old dice. You've heard me praise them. Let's have a look at them. So here they are. It's just these white ones. These cool, metallic-y. They're because I'm a NAF member. And you can see I got 2 sets. Because, yeah, I don't know why. I think maybe they sent me one, they didn't show up. And then they sent me 2. And I contacted them. They said, just keep them. Like, just get out of our sight kind of thing. But anyway, I have 2 sets. But these are the old block dice. Skull, easily readable. Arrow, easily readable. Easily readable. You get the point, it's easily readable. A D8, as I said, a bit more generic. You can pick them up in your local. Same with a D6. No Blood Bowl symbol on the 1 or the 6, just 2 plain D6. And no D16, so if you wanted to pick which player, you had to count how many players you had, and then you had to roll the dice, either a 2D6 or a D10, a D12. You know, you had to provide your own dice like some sort of monster, or find another way of working it out. You get my point. So yeah, in terms of the dice, I like these dice better. I still use these dice when I play, except in the how to play video where I didn't. I used the dice that came with the new set because, yeah, that's a thing. So, when you first started, you get these. There's a human one. lineman, catcher, and then thrower and blitzer on the back. It's like a basic team to get you started that you can play, and there's an orc equivalent. Now, with the new version, instead, you got cards. It's basically the same thing, but they're cards. So, thrower, there's his stats. Thrower stats on there. You can see they haven't actually changed, which is cool. Sure hands, pass. This was really cool, though. This is something that, I said, it's been years since I've even had to use this. But check that out. Dodging. Tells you what he would need. Picking up the ball, catching the ball, throwing. These are all really cool little things. And it's not that there isn't quick charts, because there is, both old and new. Bosh. Old. Really nice, easy to read. Bosh. Not as nice, not as easy to read. But essentially, I do quite like... You still got the symbols and they match the dice, same as you've got the symbols and they match the dice. So everything's very similar, except it all has this new feel to it. And it's all very aesthetic. And it's all not necessary, but it's all really cool. With the old one, you got kind of cardboard tokens, a bit flimsy, re-roll, you flip it over once you'd used it. I always thought that was kind of cool. Again, it's not one of those things, like it's not a game changer, but it's awesome to flip it over. Now, you get coins, and I will show you them in a minute when I show you the models. So you get basically plastic ones that are made out of the same material as the models. You can also use that for flipping for heads and tails and such. So I've bragged about them a lot. I'm ranting and rambling. I think we should look at the difference between the old models and the new ones. I know what you're thinking. Has he even got the old plastic models? Of course I do. Of course I do. I have multiple versions of them. Oddly, none of the orcs are painted because I got the metal orc team and I liked it better. Whereas I actually like the plastic humans better than the metal humans, except the dude who looks like he's modelling a toaster. He's got like catcher's gloves. It's awesome. Anyway, check them out. Go and look at the old models. We're gonna now look at the difference between the plastic humans and the new plastic humans and the plastic orcs and the new plastic orcs. So between third and fifth. We're gonna leave the old pitch out though because, yeah, we are. It's a thing. Back in a minute, guys. So there we have it. The old and the new. And we're going to look at them in more detail, don't worry. First thing I wanted to show you though, just like I was saying, these are the cool plastic coins. You can use them for your heads and tails. As you can see there, mine is still black. I haven't painted them yet. Orc symbol on one side. That symbol on the other. Pretend I didn't do that. And then on the back, the Blood Bowl symbol. And you can use these just for measuring your scores or whatever you want to do. And then you get much more impressive balls with the newer ones. So that's just a vague difference. They look very generic. And you get a couple of different ones anyway, but these are much better. And they look a lot like the metal set you could buy. And the Skaven get their own specific ones, and Orcs get ones that look like a squig. And it's all very cool. And then you get these. Now these are awesome. These are what you would use to measure your rerolls and what turn it is. And they're fantastic. They fit your different teams. They've got a level of uniqueness, but they're not essential, but they're such a nice little thing. So as you can see here, we've got the old ones in the front and the new ones in the back. We'll look at the orcs first. So, the old Black Orc. Again, I do apologise that this has taken Black Orc to a whole other level. And then the new one. Now, these come green and the humans come blue. I've sprayed them ready to paint them because they're very specific teams. My humans are called the Ostermark Direwolves and they wear purple with white trousers. Oh, yes. And my orcs are the New World Orcs. And they wear yellow and black and look a bit like bumblebees, if I'm honest. But there's the difference. Much nicer. The new orc, Black Orc, very specifically, much, much nicer than the old one. I don't have enough good things to say about the new orcs. I think they're beautiful. So that's the old orc lineman. I love his cheeky little sticky out lip, his pointy hat, which harks back to sort of 2nd edition 40k almost. And then this guy, look at him, he just looks so mean. And then we're going to grab across here the blitzers. That was a nice view of my arm for you guys who are wondering how hairy are his arms. That's how hairy they are. And I like this. Not as much as I like that guy, of course. The detail on him is beautiful. But in terms of it, yes, of them, he's my favourite. He's my favourite of the old plastic orcs. But even he's not as nice as any of these ones. And then the thrower, and you really can't compare. This guy's very static. Yes, he's holding a ball, so you can tell he's a thrower, but this guy, he just looks like he's going to throw the ball. Again, he's not helmeted like this guy. Just put him on there, well done. So that they've got that full field of vision for the purposes of throwing. So I think the new orcs are so much nicer than the old orcs. And the old orcs were the first ever team I had. I got the orcs, my dad got the humans, and then I moved on to Skaven, and then I had one of virtually every team throughout history, and then I've converted up my own. And that's one of the cool things about Blood Bowl. You can convert up your own teams. I've bought third-party teams. Black Scorpion Miniatures do some really, really nice ones, but I'm not here to plug their products, as good as their products are. Now, let's look at the humans. Now, this is a bit controversial, what I'm about to say. I do not like the humans as much as I like the old plastic humans. We will look at them one after another, though. So, here's the old human thrower. He's got character. He looks like he's going to throw. This one's quite similar. I have no issue with this model. He's bigger. He's got more detail. He's got that padding on. The actual American football style padding, which I really, really like. I think this is a cool model. Much better than this model. So we start off positive. Then the Blitzer. I don't like the new Blitzer as much as I like the old Blitzer. And my Blitzers are gold, whereas everyone else is silver, because these guys are bosses. And that'll be the same with these, because it's the same team, they've just grown slightly. He's got that cheeky plumage going on, he's got that cool shoulder pad, he's got a little number on his butt. Don't look too much. But yeah, and then this guy, he doesn't really look like he's running. I do like he's still got some plumage, but I would have preferred like the same kind of plumage. He does fit a bit more in with the rest of his team. He's still got the pads, he's got the blade. He's an okay model, but I don't like it as much as I like that one. Now the lineman. Again, he fits, he's got all the padding. He's a nice enough model in theory. For some reason, I like this one better. Always have, always will. I liked him. As I said, I liked these guys, these little cheeky plastic guys, the first sort of human team I ever saw, so much more than I liked the metal ones, who felt a bit similar to these. Not as cool. These are nice, and they're the nicest of the iterations, other than, as I said, I like these plastic ones. I don't know if it's nostalgia, I really don't. I just like this catcher. I love the big giant oven mitt. It doesn't make sense, but it's cool. And then that guy, he's leaping, so he's more dynamic, I get that. He's catching the ball, so maybe that's it. Maybe it's because it's something my humans never seem to manage to do. Like, he's a catcher who's actually catching. It doesn't seem right. But yes, in terms of, that's the difference. You can see straight away. These are much more dynamic, much nicer models. But for some reason, I just like these little guys. Always have, probably always will. But yeah, so that's a vague look at the two differences between sort of 3rd and 5th edition. For the most part, the rules feel very similar. And when we go through the how-to videos, I'll make a conscious effort to talk about 5th edition ones, not 3rd edition, because there are differences, mainly in a couple of the skills. But in terms of looking at what you get in each set, that was it. Everything I've showed you either came from the 3rd edition set or the 5th edition set. other than the few extra block dice, which, as I said, come from being a NAF member. And I really just showed you them A because they're cool, and B because I want more people to join NAF. You'll see that you get cool dice or other such cool stuff, so you might join. Everyone's happy. But yes, they're the differences. So you can see 5th edition, everything's scaled up, which again is going to be the same with Necromunda. I'm assuming it's going to be the same with any of the others moving forward as well. I have no problem with that. Because your little ones fit on the big pitch perfectly. It's just the big one takes up a bit more space. As you can see, that takes up my dining room table perfectly. And when I used to play on a little rectangular coffee table, and this board fit on that coffee table perfectly, whereas the new one would massively hang over the edges. And that's a bit more dangerous. I've got a toddler and a 9-year-old who acts like a toddler, who's currently learning Blood Bowl, so inevitably, if I played it on that old coffee table I had, he would knock it off. Luckily, the big one does just fit on my dining room table. But yes, you do need a little bit more space, but it's bigger. But the reason is that they went for much more dynamic models. And you can see in the orcs especially, the dynamic models are beautiful. Like, I can't fault them. I think they look fantastic. But yeah, so the next video we're going to do is a how to play video. So hopefully you guys will tune in and watch that. Hopefully you watched this and thought, I took away some good stuff from that. Not all of it was useful, but, you know, I've seen the differences between 3rd and 5th now. What I will do is once I finish rabbiting, I'll also, if I've still got the archive photos of them, I will show you some pictures of 1st and 2nd edition so you can see what they looked like, and they'll scroll along after this. But no, as always, guys, pray to the dice gods, hope they smile upon you. Like, subscribe, comment, hit the little bell for notifications, all that YouTube jazz that we have to do. Check out our Instagram and Twitter, linked below. And thank you very much for your time, guys. Take care.